In this episode, we follow Go as he relives some of his past. Hey, this is GatorEX, and yes, it's time to discuss episode 32 of Pokemon Journeys, Pocket Monsters, the anime, the series. It's all the same. But anyway, this is a pretty interesting episode. Ash does not appear in this episode. Pikachu neither. It's all focused around Go, and it's a good episode. It's a pretty good one. There was a brand new intro or a brand new opening starting with this episode, which I discussed yesterday, links here and there. But the episode itself is a pretty interesting contrast to the opening. The opening is nice, bright, brand new visuals, and then this episode is very full of feels, very emotional. So Go is with his parents on a vacation in the Johto region, which must be so nice. I could totally go for a vacation right now, especially to Johto. I love that region. But either way, while they're on the drive there, he seems to remember something that had happened there. And of course, we end up getting into that later. So while Go is arriving there, his parents end up falling asleep, so he goes off to explore, to look around, and at this point he kind of has some more, I guess, flashbacks. Not necessarily a flashback, but he's reminded of, what had happened there before. And so a good amount of the episode is about 3 years prior, where Go was basically in the same place, same situation again, just younger. So this, most of the episode is this portion here with young Go having no Pokemon. But of course, this is after his journeys, basically, or his his fascination with Mew had started. So young Go is out exploring the forest. Same situation too. His parents fell asleep right after arriving, which, like I said, that just sounds so nice for a vacation. But regardless, Go is exploring the nearby forest. He's seeing a lot of Johto Pokemon, which is just so nice to see. Like I said, Johto is absolutely beautiful. So while he's looking for Pokemon, he figures, maybe Mew is around here. He sees something jumping around from tree to tree, or, flying in the sky. He thinks it's Mew, chases it down, and ends up bumping into another kid who thinks that same shadow was Celebi. Turns out it was a mischievous, very appropriately. So this kid, Tokyo, is or at least, he's not necessarily just like Go, but he's at least fascinated with Celebi. And Celebi is around the area, very likely. So the two of them decide to team up and to search for Celebi, basically become friends. And that's like most of it, most of what happens. They're going around, they're looking for Celebi. One interesting thing, though, is while they're still kind of new to it, or introducing themselves to each other, Go is kind of going on and on. He's like, oh yeah, I'd love to, see Celebi. Not Celebi. I'd love to catch Mew. I'd love to see Mew. I did see Mew and this and that. And he's like going on and on, basically just flexing his knowledge because that's, what he has. And then the other kid, Tokyo, he says something like, oh, what do you know about Celebi? He's like, you know what? Tell me what you know first. So it is kind of funny. he spec'd into Mew and every other Pokemon, but not some other mythical, legendary Pokemon, it seems like. But regardless, they go on their little adventure, and it is a nice. It is really nice, I guess if 2 episodes ago it was a lot like Homeward Bound, I guess this one's a little more like Stand By Me. I don't know. I like the whole, exploring a forest or, wandering some wilderness here and there. I like that aesthetic. So at one point they end up looking up some information, finding out that Celebi was spotted some places here and there around a shrine in the forest. So they head over there, and they encounter an obstacle right away. Obviously there had been some other obstacles, but there's the tall grass and there are scary Pokemon in it. So Go runs off. He says, hey, wait here, I'll be right back. And he's gone for a while, but he ends up coming back with a Sunflora, which is a Sunflora that the janitor had. We saw it at the very beginning of the episode. I didn't mention it much, even though, again, Sunflora is a great Pokemon. I love it. If you hate Sunflora, I'm sorry, we can't be friends. It's just facts. But either way, now this is one other interesting thing, because Tokyo kind of says something like, oh, finally you're back. I didn't know what I would do if you didn't come back. And Go says, hey, but I'm back, and I keep my promises, kind of. And that's something that kind of recurs throughout the episode, them kind of keeping promises. They do become, pretty good, quick friends over the course of one day, but, we see that as a full day, of course, spending a lot of it looking for Celebi here, and then now they're getting through to the rest of it. Now, the genius thing, of course, is that Sunflora helps them cut down the grass so they can walk through it. That's one of the best things in any Pokemon game. That's why I love Generation 3, because you can cut the grass so you could just walk through it. If you didn't know that was a thing, then like it's the best. We need to bring that back. Can we just like cut down the grass? I'll mow down the entire wild area so that no Pokemon show up. Please. So they come to a small cliff. And by this time, it's about sunset. And it looks really nice, but because it's sunset, Sunflora starts to fall asleep. So they decide to chill out. And so they both lay down as, into the grass. And as it becomes nighttime, they're kind of just looking up at the sky. And there's a whole thing of like, oh, wow, isn't the universe so great? And, talking about the universe, basically. And about a lot of space Pokemon as well. So you get to see some of that. But it helps to further their bond. And again, they're both kind of going back and forth about, this Pokemon so-and-so from space, and this Pokemon, doesn't this remind you of space? And they're not necessarily that they're similar, but they're both, again, just kids who both love Pokemon. And again, that's what bonded them together on this little journey to look for Celebi. So Tokyo gets a little cold, so they decide to head back. And when they come to the road, they have to, of course, go separate ways. And again, this is where they make their promise, to meet back together tomorrow to continue their search for Celebi. And again, that's kind of the central theme, or a central theme, keeping promises. And so Go comes back the next day, and Tokyo's not there. So then we jump back to the present, and this kind of, what's the phrase? This kind of shows what happened exactly. Basically, Go felt betrayed, I guess, that Tokyo seemingly didn't keep his promise. And it is real interesting too, because it could also play a little more into Go, because we know that Go basically just spent all his time looking up information on Mew and other Pokemon, as a kid from back in what episode was that? That was episode 16. I don't want to say for sure, but the episode where we first met Go's parents, where Go kind of where we got some insight on Go, where they were a little worried about him, that he seemed a little lonely and this and that, and that it seemed like he wasn't really making a lot of friends. Now he's grown a lot, and especially after meeting Ash, and to the point where he basically has this other little adventure without Ash. But you also realize that, I guess, that probably kind of contributed to it a bit. Seemingly losing a friend like this, meeting a friend within one day, but then it seems like he didn't keep his promise. So, Go felt real betrayed, and he still holds on to that to this day, which, it's pretty sad. But while he's there, again, adult Go back in, or not adult Go, but older Go in present time, he's heading back just to explore, look around, and he's got his Pokemon now. So he's got his Scyther and his Farfetch'd, who can cut down the grass this time, which again is a mechanic we need brought back. But he actually ends up finding the shrine, and in it is a letter. And this is where everything like comes to a head, because there was kind of that emotional punch where Go just felt real betrayed, and it was just not happy. But then everything just kind of comes even more together, where it turns out that Tokyo didn't forget. He was sick, and he wasn't able to come back the next day, but he came back the next year and found the shrine, and Go wasn't there, so he left that letter for him. And it is also kind of the sad thing where he's like, specifically in his letter, he says something along the lines of, and I really wish I had found Celebi, because if I did, I would have asked it to bring me back in time to 1 year ago, so I could keep my promise. And that was that part, that was good. And then it turns out Tokyo is there, all grown, well, not grown up, but same age as Go. Still got that, he's got that drip now, and he has a Chikorita, he has his own Pokemon. So then they meet, and it's just a really, really nice episode. It's very, what's the word? Not restrained, but it's pretty serious, most of the episode. Again, like a good chunk of it was, kids out exploring, they're having fun, this and that, but it really had an emotional core. And again, I was kind of really surprised to see an episode like this. Again, no Ash, no Pikachu, focusing solely on Go, and it's very, emotionally serious. And the ending is not necessarily like extremely, we're super happy, best friends, and this and that. It's a lot more muted. And honestly kind of realistic. Yes, of course, they're both obviously happy to be reunited with each other, to see each other after all these years, and especially that now they have some resolution to their falling out, that Go has, realized that he didn't forget. He did try to keep his promise. It just unfortunately, due to circumstances, but that but he wanted to keep the promise again, coming back the next year and basically finishing their adventure where he did find the shrine, and that he still thought about Go even a year later, and then even 3 years later, he comes back and to the same spot. Maybe just probably even he probably even just did that every year, probably just to see if Go would show up. And it's a really good end to the episode. And it's real interesting too. We knew that Celebi was going to be in this episode again with some previews, but it really wasn't. Celebi was kind of a central theme to the episode. Maybe not even a theme. It just kind of like drove it's what allowed Go and Tokio to meet and become friends, and thus, fall out, but then become friends again with everything resolved. And it was just real nice. But of course, while they're meeting with each other, we see a Celebi flying around. And of course, they don't see the Celebi, but it's a whole thing of, maybe the real treasure was the friends we made along the way kind of thing. But, Celebi is there. And the biggest thing is that there are 2 Celebi and 1 is shiny. What does that mean? How does that play into things? Interesting. We're going to be getting a shiny Celebi in the Pokemon Coco movie. I think supposedly, unfortunately the movie had been delayed, and the series had gone on hiatus. But I think had everything gone according to plan, I think this episode and Pokemon Coco would have come out at closer to each other. So whether that's some sort of connection, maybe, I have no idea. We do know that there are technically multiple Celebi in Pokemon Forever. Multiple Celebi come through the time portal basically to save the one that we know in the movie. And, we don't even know anything about it, really. It could supposedly even just come from the future originally. And there could be a bunch of them in the future, who knows? Or the past, who knows? With Celebi time travel, it's all up in the air. But there being 2 Celebi and 1 being shiny, ooh, that's a big chunk of lore right there. But either way, that's basically the episode. Again, it was just it was a very, very good episode. And again, kind of, I guess, coming on the tails of 2 episodes ago where Pikachu ran away. It was very serious, emotional focused. And I'm glad they're doing more episodes like this. And it's interesting that 2 episodes like this pretty close to each other. It's like, big episode, and then, fun episode with my low tick, and then another, serious episode. So, I can't wait for the next episode where we can all cry our eyes out again. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about Go's character? I didn't really touch on the whole discussion of whether Go will or should replace Ash as the main character of the series. That's all up in the air. I'm not going to discuss. Maybe I'll discuss that at some other time. So if you'd like to see maybe something like that, a little more focused on that, let me know as well. If you'd like to see me discuss anime overall, I do have another channel for that, Rex Raptor. Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s is probably going to be coming back off a hiatus soon. Well, it already did, but we're waiting on the episode, so I'll be discussing that when that comes out, and then I'll be working on some other anime topics as well. The iCard's going to be up there, link in the description. If you could check that out, that would mean so much, and I would be greatly appreciated. But if you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can enable notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will make sure you see each new video as it comes out, and will make you a member of the Chingling Squad. Anyway, this has been GatorEX. Have a nice day.